Hello guys and welcome to the Traitors Australia Season 1 ranking, and today we've got 24 people to put into a ranking system and determine who was the best traitor this series, who was the best faithful this series, and most importantly of all, who was the biggest icon. So without much further ado, and I hope you guys enjoy, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff. We're on our way to 800 subscribers. Technically, we're on our way to 1,000, but we are making good headway. We got to keep picking it up a little bit. You guys are slowing down a little bit, but I have faith. I have faith. You guys are going to pull it out of the bag. So make sure you keep on ranting. Let's get on to the video. So guys, we are ready to get started on this ranking now. This ranking is very much my opinion only. If you disagree with me, feel free to write in the description that you disagree with me. However, please do not be a dick about it, because it's not nice. No one wants to be told that they're wrong. Like, it's just an opinion at the end of the day. It's not the end of the world. So, without much further ado, the first person we're going to be talking about is Millie. She's going in not enough time. I don't even think she survived the first episode. I think she genuinely did die in the first episode. And am I surprised? Not really, I gotta be honest. She seemed sweet. That's it. That's all I got for you. Yeah, yeah, no, bye. Next up we had, oh god, what was his name? Jack? No, I'm gonna have to put him in not enough time. Just because he got eliminated on the first... He could have been a really, really good player. But he got eliminated on the first episode because of a debacle with Olivia that just didn't make any sense and was never actually solved. Like, I actually don't know what happened with the whole Jack going up to Olivia and saying, who are we going to murder tonight? I'm still so confused about all of that. That still just does not make sense to me, because Jack was faithful, so why would he have said that? And secondly, Olivia never really came up with anything to back it up with once it was done. It was kind of kept on being brought up and then never actually came into anything ever. Next up, we had Sandra. Sandra's going in not enough time again, purely because I just don't think she came in very headstrong. She came into the first banishment very, very vocal, and I don't think we got enough time to see whether she was going to be a useful asset to the team or whether she was going to be a good player or not. And I think that's the important distinction that we need to make is, did they have enough of an impact on the game? No, we put them in not enough time. MK is going in poor player. This man is meant to be a criminal defense lawyer. He couldn't even defend himself when he was on the chopping block. Like, he actually didn't, and he also just kept on walking in the mornings and being like, guys, I am not a traitor. I'm here to find faithfuls. Guys, you got to listen to me. Oi, you over there in the back. Guys, you got to listen to me, because I am a faithful. I'm not a traitor, and I'm here to catch the faithful. I'm here. Come on. Yeah, it was just too much, honestly. He was just doing too much all the time, and it was just a bit of a fat L. Yeah, not great. Ethan, I'm going to put him in not enough time, but I'm going to put him at the top of not enough time, because we did get 2-3 episodes with him, I think. Was it 2-3 episodes? Yeah, I think it was. Because, yeah, no, it was 2 episodes we got with him, and then he died at the start of the third. Yeah, he didn't really do much. Sorry, Ethan. You're kind of just, you're at the top of not enough time, but, like, I just wish we'd have got to see just a little bit more from you. Yeah, just, it would have been interesting to see just a bit more from you, I guess. Yeah, I haven't really got anything else to say. I'm really sorry. Chloe, you're going at the bottom of poor player. I still don't understand what happened with Chloe, because the thing is she claims to be a clairvoyant, and she claims to have all of these visions, like she was fucking Raven from That's So Raven. But like, none of them were actually useful or helpful, because as soon as she was like, guys, the 4 traitors are Marielle, Angus, Kashindi, and Theresa, I was like, huh? Okay, fair enough, you've got 2 of them. But the other 2 you've got completely wrong. If you were a clairvoyant, surely you should have got all of them right. Right? Like, surely. It just always rang like alarm bells in my brain that she was maybe a production plant put in to sort of spice things up. But like, it just always felt like really poor. And she didn't even stick around to sort of explain those accusations. She just dropped the bomb, walked out, and then quit the game. So yeah, you're going at the bottom of poor player. Unless there's somebody else that's even actually no, there is someone that's going to be at the bottom of poor player. But for now, you're at the bottom of poor player, Chloe. I don't know what you were doing, and you were kind of annoying as well with your whole sort of like, guys, you got to listen to me. I've had a vision. I've had a vision, guys. There's a train. Whatever. Up next, we have Cash, and I'll put her in meh. She didn't really do much, and she kind of got caught up in the whole bullshit that was Chloe accusing her of being a traitor when she was actually a faithful. So I did feel bad for her, but I don't think she helped herself at times. There were times when Kate would be like, yo, can you give me some kind of indication that you are a faithful? Or like, what kind of, well, who do you think it is? And she goes, oh, I don't know. And then when she comes into the room, she suddenly has these weird accusations to make. I'm like, what's going on here? So yeah, a little bit of an odd one. Not sure how I feel about that. But yeah, Cash, I'm sorry, you got to go and meh, got lucky, because like you just didn't do enough for me. I'm really sorry. Up next, we have Midi. And I'm going to put Midi in did pretty well, because he was on to people very early on. And he had sort of suspicions on the traitors very early on, and he was correct in his suspicions. He didn't properly get to play the game because, like I said, he was taken out at the end of episode 3, so he really only got 3 episodes to shine before he was kind of gone. But in those 3 episodes, he worked quite well with Mark and managed to sort of pin the blame kind of on, I think he had suspicions on Marielle, and I think he had suspicions on Clare, and I think also on Angus as well, actually. I think he was sort of like helpful in targeting all 3 of those, but not so much Marielle, actually. I think it was just Clare and Angus. I might be wrong. My memory is betraying me, but I still think he did pretty well. I can't give him strong game because he wasn't in it for long enough, but if he had been, I reckon he would have been itching up that leaderboard. Up next, we have Olivia. Olivia, you're going in poor player because what on earth? In fact, I'm going to just put you above that one for a second. But what on earth was the whole bullshit that was like the Jack situation? I don't understand. What happened? I'm so confused. I still do not know what's going on, and for that reason, you're going in poor player because you effectively kicked out another faithful based off of something that clearly wasn't true, and maybe you misunderstood. But then again, like, I don't really get it. I'm really confused because it was just one big confusion after another with Olivia, and then she eventually got voted out, and then it was like, I'm a faithful, and then it was like, well, then what the fuck was all of that? What was going on here? You didn't have a good reason for getting rid of him. Oh, it really did bug me, that whole thing. Justine. I don't know where I'm putting Justine. Maybe Mac got lucky. I don't think she had like a chance to fully show her worth in the game. Like, I'm trying to remember. I'm now flicking back through my book. I want to know who she voted for on the vote against Olivia. She voted for Matt. She kept on. I think she kept on voting for Matt a couple of episodes in a row. Yeah, Justine, Matt. I mean, absolutely fair and valid, because Matt was a bit of a twat. But yeah, I don't think she ever had any true suspicions against people. I think Matt sort of jeopardized her game, but then obviously she was taken out. So I don't know. There was a lot going on with Justine. We didn't get enough time with her to really sort of cement whether she was a good player or not. But what we saw was kind of like, your instincts are not great, but like you're making valid points for why you think it's not just sort of you're going with the crowd and you're voting faithfuls out purposefully. Like Matt is genuinely accusing you of being a murderer or like a traitor, and so you're voting for him in return. I don't know. It's just how I feel. Up next we have Angus, and oh god, Angus. I don't want to put you in poor player, but maybe bottom of meh, got lucky. He just was not a very good traitor. He let the guilt show on his face so much. He made a couple of dodgy comments that people clung to, like the whole when the shield challenge happened and he got out and he was like, like murder was going through my mind, and then it was misinterpreted. What am I on about? Misinterpreted to be like, oh, I was gonna murder you tonight. It was just one fuck up after another with Angus, and he never properly recovered from it, and therefore it just jarred the whole time. It just was jarring to watch, and so I just don't think he played a very, very good game. It was a shame that he had to go out when he did. But it is what it is. There's not really much we can do about that. But yeah, on the whole, by Angus, Meg got lucky. That's what you're getting. But Clare, I'm going to put her in did pretty well, because I do think that the only reason why people started to go for Clare massively is because Marielle started to drop seeds. Marielle and Nigel were instrumental in getting Nigel out, and then like Marielle was instrumental in getting Clare out of the game. And there was that really awkward moment at the round table where Clare turned to her and went, "Are you voting for me tonight?" And she went, "I don't know." And it was like, oh shit. She defended herself well, I thought, and I think it was just a case of there wasn't any other names around the table that people were willing to vote, because there has been some suspicion on her just based off of not anything that she's been doing, but just off of some mannerisms from the start of the game, and I thought she explained those away quite well. So that's why I'm putting her in did pretty well. I don't think she was a horrendous player. I think she had definitely strengths in the game, and she had some weaknesses. Like, she often played like that meek woman, like older woman, and I think she should have just been a bit more vocal and a bit more strong. She kind of did play it a little bit too subdued, which was a shame, but she still made it to like halfway through the season, so you can't fault her for that. Up next we have Mark. Mark's going in legendary, and the reason why I'm putting Mark in legendary is not only did he get Angus out, not only did he get Clare out, but he also, just before he died, he was like, I think it might be Marielle. So out of everybody that he suspected in the game, he managed to get 3 out of 4 of the traitors at the time. At the time of his passing, he managed to get 3 out of the 4 names completely correct, which is unprecedented. I don't think we've had that level of ingenuity this early on in the game. It was incredible. I was going to say incrazy, but that's not a word. It was genuinely crazy how good he was at this game, because other people were really, really fumbling, and him, along with like Marielle, who's obviously a traitor, were kind of leading the charge on getting traitors out, and he managed to get 2 early doors, episode 5 and 6, back to back, and he didn't let up, and he got what he wanted, and he was right both times. He was the ultimate faithful this series, and it's kind of crazy how he managed to do that. Kind of crazy indeed. Now we've got Matt. Matt, you're going at the bottom of poor player. Fuck me. Fucking hell. This was... I think Matt might potentially be the worst player I've ever seen on a Traitors series, with the exception of Sarah on Australia Season 2, who is also meant to be like a clairvoyant or whatever. Spiritualist. Oh, God. Matt was like a dog with a bone. He was just so unwilling to let Theresa go. He believed wholeheartedly Theresa was a traitor, and that was his downfall. When I tell you, normally when a faithful goes, I'm like, oh, that's quite sad. I cheered when he left. I think he's probably a really lovely person. But in this game, he was so frustrating to watch. Because for about 3 or 4 episodes in a row, this man was... I think it's Theresa. You have to vote for Theresa. He was saying it to Dirk when Dirk was in trouble. You have to vote for Theresa. You have to get her out of here. And I was like, why? You don't know it's Theresa. You don't know. Oh, really, really frustrated me because, it was just every single round table. And then when Theresa was like, are you going to finally believe me now that we've got Clare out? And he was like, yeah. Fair. The next round table. I think it's you, Theresa. I was like, oh, leave it out. Leave it out, please. Oh, it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. But yeah, I can't get over the fact that he was most definitely the worst player of this series, without a doubt. Now, Dirk, I'm gonna put him in... I'm going to put him at the top of did pretty well. And the reason why I'm putting him at the top of did pretty well and not strong game is because he was voted out. But he did manage to persuade everyone around that table not to vote for him the first time they brought up his name. Because there was a shield challenge where Kate won because they were all going to vote Kate out. And she ended up winning. But when he was standing there, someone was like, oh, I really want this shield. And he was like, why do you need the shield? And like, you're not going to get banished. And they were like, because of the murder. And he went, oh, I forgot about the murder. It was just a flippant comment, similar to Angus's comment earlier on in the series. But obviously, comments like that can cause people to go, huh, that's odd, that's strange. Why did you say that? And then they just run with it, and then they end up getting you banished because of it. Like I said, he defended himself really, really well the first time, but then the second time it was kind of done and dusted. There wasn't really anybody else to vote for. And with it was just a bit tough. It was tough to watch. Poor Dirk. He did well though. He managed to get to episode 8, I think, which was not bad, but is what it is. Up next, we have Fi. I'm going to put her in... No, Fi. Her name is Fi. Fiona. I'm going to put her in strong game. And the reason I'm putting her in strong game is because she managed to make it to the end of episode 8, start of episode 9. Which means she survived 8 banishments, 8 murders, right? Is that how the math works? Yeah, I think so. She did well. She did do very, very well. And that's because she was very vocal, she was outspoken, and she got her point across very well at the round table. She was also one of these people that... And the reason why I'm putting her in strong game is because she had the right intuition, just about the wrong people. And... as much as you guys may disagree and you might want to put her in did pretty well or Meg got lucky, I'm putting her in strong game because she was picking up on little bits or little comments and little tidbits of information that people were saying and building a case on them. Obviously, with Angus, she was 100% correct. With Dirk, she wasn't, but she had good reason with Dirk. I won't lie. I'll be 100% honest, she had good reason with Dirk. And so I can't fault her for that. Because what he said was suspicious. And there was no real coming back from that. So, yeah, it's just a case of, I think she played a good game. She played a very, very... I thought she played a strong game. She made it quite far in the game. And I was kind of gutted when she left. There were only 2 people that got, exit car interviews. Her and Mark. Which I found very interesting. I don't think anybody else in the show that wasn't a traitor got one. So that was quite interesting. But, yeah, I'd probably put her there. Now, Marielle is going at the top of the strong game. And this whole series, I was like, rah... Marielle is going to be in Legendary. Marielle has gotten rid of Angus, she's gotten rid of Clare, and she's going to ride to the final with Nigel. And then she made one mistake that cost her entire game. I was shocked. I was shocked that she made such an error, because she could have said it to literally anybody else or about anybody else. But what she did was she said to Kate, oh, by the way, before Fee went upstairs, she said, if I get murdered, I think it might be Theresa, because I feel like I've been having the wall pulled over my eyes. And Kate was like, rah, Fee would never say that. Took it to Theresa. Yeah, Fee would never say that. What are you on about? She would have been outspoken. She would have said it. She would have said it to the group if she was worried. She wouldn't have just said it to one person. And it just crumbled Marielle's game from there. And she didn't even know it was happening until they all voted for her. Well, not all of them, but like most of the table voted for her at the round table. Like, I genuinely couldn't get over the blind side. This is where the blind side works, and it's not a frustrating gameplay tactic that you use every single banishment, which is what happened in season 2. They saw this, and they saw this episode, and were like, rah, that's how we're going to run every single episode. We're going to do blind sides every single episode. Who are we voting for today? Let's all pile on this person. Anyway, moving on from Australia season 2, because that is a source of my trauma. Marielle, the only reason why you're not in Legendary is because of that one move that you fucked up on. Other than that, you played a fantastic game, and you made it to episode 9. Should have made it further, but obviously Alex switched up on you, and she got rid of you, and I was like, tough. Really, really tough indeed. Yeah, rough. So next up, we have Nigel, and I'm going to put Nigel at the bottom of Legendary. And the reason I will put Nigel at the bottom of Legendary is because the only reason why people started to suspect him is because Alex dropped his name. Not necessarily because of anything that he had done. Obviously, he had done stuff that made him look suspicious, but the general consensus was that he was innocent, and he was chill. But the problem came when Alex was like, oh, wasn't it weird that like the people who went for the shield in the very first shield challenge were all traitors and Nigel and Lewis? That's weird, right? And obviously then from there, the seed just started growing and growing and growing. Why didn't you vote for Marielle at the last round table? If he had voted for Marielle at the last round table, I think he would have been able to justify himself. But that was another piece of damning evidence. And then it also didn't help that flipping what's-his-face, Roger walked into the room going, maybe you should look at your closest allies, and basically looked at Craig. Oh yeah, it was a long day. It was a long day voting for Nigel. But I'm putting him in Legendary because for at least 9 episodes, he remained completely under the radar. And the only reason why he went out that episode is because Lewis won the shield. That's the only reason. Because if Lewis hadn't have won that shield, Lewis would have gone home that episode. It's the same thing with like how Kate won the shield and then someone else had to go up because of it. Someone else had to be taken out. So Nigel, I'm putting you in Legendary because you were fantastic, you did amazing, and you were just let down by a couple of things that were just put together on a pinboard. It was like connect the dots. It was unfortunate. It wasn't a move you made. It was just a collection of moves that had been made that were connected together and made a case against you. So yeah, Paul. I don't really know what to say about Paul, other than we got one episode where he talked, and that was it. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to move straight on from Paul. He seems like a lovely chap. I know some of you really wanted me to put him up here, but, like, he is an icon, obviously, but that is for, like, the one person a series, and, like, I can't give it to Paul as my one person a series, do you know what I mean? But the person I am going to give it to is Theresa. Theresa made it top 5, and I was so upset when she got voted out. I was so upset because she was instrumental in getting rid of both, getting rid of Marielle. I think she got rid of Clare. I think she voted for Angus as well. I might be wrong. Let me check that. But she just did a fantastic job of making sure that the thing was, yeah, Theresa did vote for Angus. She voted 3 out of the 4 of the traitors out of the game. She didn't vote for Nigel because she felt like it was a her against, and she believed that it was Lewis more than. Wait, did she vote? I can't remember who she voted in that one. She just didn't believe it was Nigel, and fair enough, whatever. But she was funny. She was essentially the Kate of this series, like, you know, Kate Chastain, where she just was the funniest person in the series. She gave brilliant voiceover clips. There were moments where during challenges she would keep me engaged because she was commentating or she was doing something that was funny or something. So she just was the most iconic person in this series. I can't say it about anybody else because nobody else was as entertaining as her, and I just think she's absolutely incredible and would love to see her again. Lewis. Ah, yeah. Mayor got lucky. He made it to the final just because he won a shield. He got lucky with that. There were other people that they were targeting. Got lucky with that. I don't think he made it to the final for any other reason than that. And that's kind of all I've got to say on Lewis. I don't think he played the game particularly well. As far as I remember, let me just have a look. But like, I don't remember him voting for like a single traitor. In the one with, the one with Angus, he voted for Theresa. Then the one with Clare, he voted for. Oh, he voted for Clare in that one. Okay, so he voted Clare out. Fair enough. And then when it came to Nigel, he voted Nigel out. But when it came to Marielle, I don't think he voted Marielle out. No, Lewis voted for Kate. So, I don't know. He's been kind of helpful, but I don't know whether that's just him going with the group or whether he actually does genuinely believe that they're traitors. But I'm putting him in there. Got lucky, so we're going to move on. Kate, you're going at top of Legendary for now, purely because you played so poorly. So poorly the first half of the game. First 6-7 episodes were rough for you. They were rough. They were tough. I think you voted. No, in fact, you didn't vote Clare or Angus out. I'm pretty sure you voted Dirk twice. So I can't even give you props for that. However, Kate was the reason that they got Marielle and Nigel. And if you're looking at the grand scheme of things, Marielle, Nigel, they were the hidden traitors. Clare and Angus were the obvious ones. They were the ones doing the most, like, suspicious things. Kate managed to get the two undercover ones by picking up on subtle things and connecting the dots. So I'm going to put her at the top of the Legendary because I think she actually did do quite well. Yeah, she had a bit of a shit first half of the game, but her second half of the game was stellar. Her time as a traitor was good, and she just missed out on that prize because of Craig's blind loyalty to Alex, and yeah, it did kind of upset me a little bit, but I gotta give her Legendary. I can't not. With Craig, I'm gonna put him in did pretty well, and I know this is gonna be controversial, guys. I know, but listen to me, hear me out. The reason I'm putting him in did pretty well, and the top of did pretty well, is because he made it to the final because of his relationships with people. This is a game where you can't afford to be unpopular, because as much as it's a game of finding the traitors, if you're the odd one out, you could get murdered. If you're the odd one out in another way, you could get banished. So making connections with people is something that Craig was the best at in this game. He had connections with Nigel, Alex, Marielle, Kate, Theresa, Fee, etc, etc, etc. And that kept him in the game because he was somebody that the traitors knew they could use. They did. That's why I put him in did pretty well, because he made it to the end, and he did actually vote out every single one of the traitors that got voted out. He voted for Angus. Did he vote for Angus, actually? I should have probably bookmarked these pages so I'm not just flicking backwards and forwards. I'm fairly certain he voted for Angus. Hang on. Angus is one here. Yeah, he did vote for Angus. So he voted Angus, Clare, Marielle, and Nigel. So a good track record, you gotta say. And yeah, I'm just gonna put him there. And then Alex, I'm gonna put Alex at the top of Legendary. She won the show. She played the game fantastically. She didn't really have much to do in the first half, but she did vote out Angus and Clare. And then when it came to being a traitor, she backstabbed three of her fellow traitors in order to get to the grand prize. And you got to give her props. She absolutely smashed it from start to finish. Absolutely incredible. So that is our tier list, guys. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? If you do disagree with me, be nice in the comments. Don't be dicky about it. I would love to hear your guys' opinions, because obviously it's opinion based, but like I said, be nice, be kind, and yeah, make sure you are having a wonderful rest of your day. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well, and I'll see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. So without much further ado, keep on ranting. Bye now.